Hey, what's good, everybody? I wanted to do a quick reading. So this is going to be a collective reading for January of 2024. So, hope you guys are all doing well. Okay, that was fast. Honesty. So honesty, this is the Wisdom of the Elders deck. Honesty, number 7. Obviously, it's all about being honest to yourself, right? As you can see, there's a ceremony going on, and the Bigfoot's coming out. And if ever there was someone that's honest about who they are, it's Bigfoot, right? Yeah, okay. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I don't know what else to say about that. Just be honest, right? Honesty is going to be very important. It's setting the stage for the rest of the month, right? The second one is rebirth, right? Sweat Lodge, rebirth. So if you can see, I was just talking about the Sweat Lodge in the last video I made on my podcast channel. And as you can see, it's rebirth, right? And that's what the Sweat Lodge is about. I explain how, the Sweat Lodge is pretty much where they took, they kind of stole the term being born again, right? Because that's what the Sweat Lodge is, right? It's like entering the woman's womb and, releasing all that, releasing all the toxins, releasing any kind of energy, releasing any worries, sickness, and coming out born again, right? As you purify, right? So first we have honesty, then a rebirth, right? So in order to have this rebirth, obviously you have to be honest with yourself about what it is and where it is that you're going this year, right? So honesty, and then Sweat Lodge, rebirth, right? Wow, so these cards definitely want to talk. After that, you have the activation, right? Honesty, Sweat Lodge, activation. And this says summer, right? 22. Which, it's a master number, right? 22. Maybe once you're honest with yourself and you have that rebirth, you step into your power and you activate, right? Yeah. That's, pretty straightforward, right? It makes perfect sense. Being honest with yourself and others as well. Not just about being honest with yourself, but others, humanity. Stop living with a mask on, right? It's hard, right? It's hard. We're taught so many things at birth about, so many things that we do that we're told, don't do that. And no, probably one of the first words we hear, aside from, oh, pretty baby or something, hopefully, right, is no, right? No, no, no. So we're taught so many things about not being ourselves and being honest, right? It's almost like the world wants you to lie. And, some people stick with it as they get older, right? I think I was lucky that honesty became a big thing for me. And I always felt, at one point, I got angry with the honesty because it was a lonely road, right? To be honest. People don't like you to be honest, I found out, right? So I learned the hard way that honesty wasn't the best thing, but I became comfortable with it. And I became comfortable with being alone if necessary because of the honesty, right? So being honest with yourself. And then I guess if you're able to have that ceremony and having your rebirth, but if not, it's fine, right? This is symbolic as well, right? So honesty, right? Starting off January, boom, rebirth, the activation, right? That'll lead to that activation, right? Grandmother moon, right? She's pregnant, right? The woman in this card is pregnant, right? Number 13. Grandmother moon cycles, right? I don't want to be wrong, but I almost want to say that there's 13 moon cycles, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure it has it in the book. 13 moon cycles in the year, right? In the actual real year, not the one that they put on all of us after, right? But you know, the cycle, it's I'm just blown away that it came out very perfect in this way, right? Honesty, rebirth, activation, and you know, that being a cycle in life, right? Anything that you take on, right? You have to start with honesty, and then that leads to you having that rebirth and being activated in that way. And then, you know, the cycles, right? And she's pregnant, right? Almost like if all that led to the creation of something and giving birth to something new, right? Which obviously would be you in that sense, right? Next, we have beaver, wisdom. You know, I'm not 100% familiar with the beaver, so, but I know beavers build, right? You know, they're very resourceful. They're able to chop those trees down and build their little dams and all that stuff. Is usually how you see the beaver, right? But it's wisdom, right? Their sacred knowledge. It's almost like it holds, you know, if you see the beaver, the sun setting inside, right? Like, and it's also, so it's almost like it has a connection to the shadows, but also the sun. And there's life, right? It's giving life. So it's a very mysterious looking card, right? The beaver. I almost want to read that one. So let me read that one real quick, because this seems like a very straightforward reading, right? Honesty, rebirth, activation, cycles, the beaver. So let me read this one card. Beaver, wisdom is a gift from the Creator, and it is to be used for the good of everyone. It is often associated with prudence and intelligence, and it reminds us to practice good judgment. When we consider the decisions we make throughout our lives, we should reflect on how the choices of today will impact the next 7 generations. Wow, that's deep. Beaver carries the sacred grandfather teachings of wisdom and express the difference between wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge is about comprehension, and wisdom is about applying that comprehension and knowledge correctly. Beaver shows us that when one pollutes a water source, one may not necessarily be breaking a human law, but one is breaking a law of nature. In a broader sense, when we hurt those around us, we in turn hurt ourselves, because on a spiritual level, we are all one. Beaver represents wisdom because it uses its innate gifts for survival and alters its environment in a sustainable and beneficial way for the entire ecosystem. Beaver bases decisions on what best suits everyone rather than just focusing on itself. If you have drawn this card today, it is a message to use your gifts wisely and to live your life fully by embracing those attributes. In doing so, you can contribute not only to your own development, but to the development of a peaceful and healthy environment, community, and ecosystem. This card may signal a situation where your wisdom is required and where careful consideration is needed during the decision-making process. Wow, so I see why I was called to read that card, right? So I guess on your journey, starting off in this January, as you hopefully start off in an honest way, which will lead to a rebirth and an activation, you know, an understanding, it gives birth to something new, right? If you haven't been living in that honest way and you're able to change that direction and you go into this new cycle of, you know, obviously it's completing cycles, right? Putting old cycles to rest and starting a new one and giving birth to something new. And now the wisdom teaches you that hopefully as you begin this new journey, you take into account the way that it's going to affect others. And, you know, obviously that's how we're going to change the world, right? So maybe this reading was a little deep, right? But maybe, obviously, whoever's watching this might be considering moving in a direction that will affect others, right? And it's all about the choices you make, right? It's about, you know, obviously that's what's been wrong with the world, not to get all preachy or nothing, but as a whole, people have been doing, you know, that's what we were taught, right? Everything is about you, me. You know, I need to mine this because of this. I need to mine this because of that. I need to get this water to put it in a bottle to sell, right? As opposed to, you know, the water for everybody and stuff like that. Like I said, I won't get too preachy on that. Let me just pull one more card from this Sacred Forest Oracle deck because I really like it. This one calls out to me a lot. But right now, I don't know. My favorite one seems to be this Wisdom of the Elders. I also did an interview on my podcast channel with the creator of them, Sean Leonard. He's a medium, an indigenous medium that has a, you know, a show over there on APN TV or something like that. It's a Canadian TV show. Let me see, hold on. I don't like the way that one fell out, so. Oh, wow. Okay. Ancient Oak Spirit, Strength. And another one came out, I'll put it. Stag Spirit, Leadership. Wow. That's powerful, right? So it's asking you to have strength in whatever all this journey is, right? And this is just in January, right? So it's already asking you to have strength, like the Ancient Oak Spirit. And the Stag Spirit, Leadership, right? So whoever this reading is for or resonates for, obviously, you know, there's this role in leadership, right? There's something you're starting. That's why I guess this message of the beaver and how you'll affect others in whatever you're doing, whatever you're leaning towards doing is gonna affect others as well, and it's gonna take strength for you to do that. And you're obviously stepping into some kind of leadership role, whether you're starting your own business or, you know, collaborating with others, working with others, somehow, some way, right? So that's it. I'll just cut the reading there. It seemed very straightforward. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.